The question of new telecommunications initiatives in Santa Fe and how federal law views them has been one of the more confusing issues to come before the city in some time. At the core of the question is a new FCC ruling designed to speed up the application and approval process for companies that would like to improve internet, phone, and cable services. That ruling comes about because those companies argued before the FCC that cities around the nation were taking too much time, sometimes years, to hear or approve their applications. Then there's a question of health effects. Government and most health sources say there are no adverse health effects from most wireless communications devices, but opponents say that's not so. And then what happens to other franchises that want to provide a different type of service, say a high-speed internet service that operates not on wireless systems, but on below-ground fiber optics. First to the opponents. Victoria Jewett is with a group named Santa Fe Alliance for Health and Public Safety. I asked her about that group's concerns.
Well, the major concerns are that the land use ordinance within the city code will be totally scuttled. I should tell you that there is a new revised ordinance now on the city website. Did you know that?
Yes, I've seen that.
Well, that one is even more favorable to the telecommunications industry. But basically, there will be no oversight, no regulation. The fact that franchises won't have to comply with the land use code is huge. The fact that antennas and towers will be permitted in all zoning districts is also of great concern. And also antennas in historic districts will not have to be approved by the H Board. And I guess my main concern is that these antennas and towers, some of them will be 25-foot towers in areas where they don't have utility poles above ground. These will be placed every quarter to 1/2 mile apart. And while they are not, they're advertised as being low power antennas, they're actually very high power, which you read in the op-ed piece.
You say 55 to 85 watts of radiated power, right?
That's correct.
The companies that I talk to say that they're using a fraction of what the FCC allows, but I have no information on what the FCC allows. Do you?
Not offhand, but I know that it's set so high that it's essentially meaningless, and that they have recently permitted more power. I can't tell you when and exactly how that happened, but I think within the past year they upped it, and they're talking about upping the allowable amount of power again. Whereas in Europe, this is very tightly regulated, and they basically, in many European countries and municipalities, allow far less power than we do, and in Russia as well.
You talk about towers, 25-foot towers. People may have the idea that this is like those huge cell phone towers you see along the interstates, or even the one that's located downtown. But these are smaller devices, aren't they? Mainly, some of the companies now applying for these franchises or agreements will just have a little box sitting on a telephone pole.
Yeah, that's correct. They will put them on utility poles if they can. And 25 feet is not as big as a huge tower, that's true. But they're calling them towers, the ones that they erect themselves, where the telephone poles are underground.
Is it your understanding that this proposed city ordinance would also allow this huger type of tower that we're used to seeing associated with really big cell phone systems?
Well, the brand new ordinance, I think, might. I don't know. I haven't looked into that, but it seems to throw out all land use regulation.
But at least the companies now exploring agreements with the city don't plan to do that sort of thing. They're looking at these smaller devices.
No, I think yes, that's correct. And I think the companies are trying to get away from the big towers because residents protest when they go up. And so they're all moving toward these distributed antenna systems, and they tend to all install all the antennas very quickly, almost simultaneously. And that has happened in municipalities around the country where sometimes, such as Davis and Merrick, New York, residents will wake up in the morning and find that the town has been blanketed with antennas.
And, of course, these, for the most part, it sounds like these are going to be the small, more or less invisible kinds on light poles. Some of them may require their own stand, their own pole to sit on, but you're also concerned with the health effects from the electromagnetic radiation.
Well, I am personally, yeah, but they won't all be hidden. They won't all be stealth antennas. I think NewPass calls for more of those, and some of the other companies do not. But yeah, whether they're hidden or not, I am concerned about the radiation and the effects of.
Now, we understood previously that City Council had cut off debate on these new applications, but to your understanding, is the public hearing on the new ordinance still open for public debate?
As far as I know, there will be no more public hearings on the ordinance.
But there have been changes to the ordinance. Wouldn't they have to have more public hearings?
Technically, no. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I heard that Wednesday they were either going to do an up and down vote or possibly table the ordinance. I mean, those were the possibilities.
And Councilor Miguel Chavez has called for a moratorium in the meantime.
Yes. And I believe that we shouldn't act on the ordinance without acting on the moratorium first.
Victoria Jewett, you'll be at that meeting. We'll be listening very carefully ourselves. Many thanks.
Thank you.